Months after my aunt passed away, I had a dream about her, and in that dream, she handed me money. I woke up and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I don't know what the dream meant. I still don't. But something in me felt like I needed to reach out to my cousin. So I called her. And what started as a conversation about a dream turned into one of the most eye-opening conversations I've ever had. My cousin started telling me about her own experiences with her mom after her death. She told me she had seen her mom. She told me about conversations and things her mom had communicated to her. And then she started telling me something that really caught my attention. She said her mom had been telling her that a lot of the things we believe about life, about death, about spirituality, even about religion, aren't necessarily the way we've been taught to understand them. And I remember thinking, what do you mean? Because I had spent my entire life believing certain things. I had grown up with a particular understanding of God, of religion, of death, of what happens when we leave this physical world. Those were the things I knew. Those were the things I had been taught. So hearing my cousin say these things wasn't something I could just casually brush off. But what really got me was that she wasn't just telling me a story. She was telling me about things her mom had said to her. And then she would tell me about places her mom had mentioned or things she had told her to check out. And according to my cousin, when she actually went and checked, they were true. Now let me be honest with you. I didn't know what to make of that. I wasn't sitting there thinking, okay, everything I've ever believed is wrong. No, I was skeptical, confused, curious, and honestly, a little uncomfortable. Because when something challenges the way you've understood life your entire life, you don't just replace one belief with another overnight. You start asking questions. And that's what I started doing. I started asking, what if I've only been exposed to one way of understanding spirituality? What if there are things I was never taught? What if religion and spirituality aren't the same thing? What happens to us when we die? What exactly is consciousness? And who decided what we were allowed to believe? And that last question really stayed with me because I realized something. I had spent so much of my life believing, but I hadn't spent much time questioning. And I'm not saying my cousin's experiences gave me all the answers. They didn't. If anything, they gave me more questions. And those questions started pulling me deeper. I started reading. I started listening. I started exploring. I started looking at spirituality differently. And slowly, I started looking at myself differently too. Looking back now, I think that conversation was one of the first cracks in the version of reality I had always known. Not because I suddenly knew what was true, but because for the first time, I became open to the possibility that I didn't know everything. And once you become comfortable enough to say, maybe I don't know, that's when the real questions can begin. And I had no idea those questions were about to lead me somewhere much deeper than I expected.